I'm about that. Cause I'm about that. I'm about that come up, running up on them fools that are talking foolish. Try to get them funds up, killing them mics just like I ran a jewels in. Y'all gonna get done up front, knowing that kid with an attitude, but you can't really blame this motherfucker. It's what he had to do. I'm about that cash flipping, I'm getting it on and off the market. Not about that VIP, not me, not never been a fan of carpets. All about that RIP for all of my Jesus gone departed. All about that finish what I started, I'm about that.
Top down, I know you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Top down, I know you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
Know that I'm about it, want a man I can bring the drama. But it ain't by chance I'm fucking rapping, you don't really want a problem. Made a little cash in the back end, but still rapping like I'm starving. Yeah, y'all gotta ask who the man is, hope I'm gonna be like, beg your pardon. I'm about that.
Top down, I know you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Top down, I know you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Tuesday edition of the YSN Power Hour. DJ Oakley alongside a few of my friends, Quinn Pushkar and Mr. Pittsburgh, Jeff Bezos. Then you have EB over there in the far corner, the beach bum to himself. You can hear the waves crashing on his feed. And then you have Max Baseball Academy, Mr. Billy McCartney. Gentlemen, how are we today?
Doing good. Can't complain. Look at that.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing you can complain about right now except the fact that you're going to be responsible for all these scheduling changes, Paul, so don't get too comfy down there in Myrtle Beach. You got some work to do. Guys, it is officially National Sons and Daughters Day, so congratulations and happy Sons and Daughters Day to you. Did anybody get anything other than Jeff Bezos today?
No.
Me neither. Nobody? I mean, I'll be honest. The other options were kind of lame. This one wasn't too great, but at least it's representative of everybody. This is all inclusive. National Sons and Daughters Day. Jeff, how are you celebrating National Sons and Daughters Day today?
By eating tacos and drinking Coronas.
And that's going to do it for Jeff Bezos today. Congratulations. We're going to start with breaking news, guys. Big Ten pulling the plug on the season. We had this for you yesterday, but the craziness that was yesterday of sources coming out and saying the Big Ten was going to pull the plug on the season, and then they came out and said, no, we didn't mean that. It's somebody. There was no vote that took place. It was all a big Band-Aid that did not go the way of the Big Ten. Thought it was going to go from a social perspective, in my humble opinion, and then today they officially pulled the plug. Was yesterday a misstep? Or do you feel that it literally the vote didn't happen and things weren't official until right now? We'll start with JB since I just gave him some grief.
When the story broke yesterday, when I read about it yesterday before it came down, I knew this was I know it wasn't official of a vote, but I had to kind of guarantee that it was going to happen, and the season was going to get canceled. Or even moved. They said it was going to move, right? To the spring.
Yeah, they're looking at different options right now. Quinn, what's your take on? Was this all a publicity stunt? Did it get out too early, or what's your take here?
I don't think it got out too early because the vote happened. Whether somebody wants to say it happened or not, whenever it was going to get released as it was today, but the vote happened. It came out that I think it was Nebraska and Iowa were the only two that said we're going to play or whatever.
Correct.
Which good for them, I guess. I mean, I saw something with Scott Frost, the head coach of Nebraska, saying that they're going to try and find a way to play anyway, which will be kind of interesting to see.
Did you see that press conference?
I did.
How unbelievable was that speech?
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, it was very charismatic, I guess, is the word.
I thought he covered a lot of bases, a lot of the things that people were afraid to say. and he came out and just kind of laid it all on the line and said, and we're going to talk about it a little later because he kind of echoed what Lieutenant Governor Houston said. So I'm interested to catch EB's take on this, and he's got a puppy.
I do. Meet Ellie.
Hi, Ellie.
What's up? So I feel like yesterday was the presidents making a decision before they told the football coaches, and that's why they kind of backtracked. Me personally, I thought they should have waited, or one of the ideas was to wait until September 27th or later in September. I think just in general on all sports, if you have the option to either push it back or cancel it, push it back and see what happens. But yesterday, it seemed like the prematurity through it all was the presidents kind of agreed on it, but they didn't tell anyone else. And then word kind of got out, and so they had to kind of backtrack. This is where they're at. And, just to go off of what Scott Frost said, he's right, though. I mean, not even just looking at the economics, but these kids want to play, and, they train for this. This is what they're wired to do. Coaches want to coach, players want to play, we'll find a way to do it.
It's going to be interesting. Paul, from the luxury of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, your thoughts on this?
The Scott Frost interview was awesome. I mean, to sit and listen to him, talk about that. Listen, take the money out of it. Yeah, he knows the state, the college football. They're all going to lose millions of dollars. But let's look at the kids. And he's not the only one. I mean, Trevor Lawrence came out and said the same thing. He's like, what are these guys going to do when they're not at football? They're going to go home to their homes and their different states that they're from, and they're going to probably get something there too. And, Saban said the same thing. You've got some big names coming out telling them, listen, we need to play football because we can control these kids when they're in our environment. We can put them all in one dorm all by themselves, and then they come to practice and they, go to class if they have to go to class, if, they can do it remotely. But now they've pulled the plug on this and they want to move it to the spring. My question is going to be, you're going to have guys who are NFL potential guys. That draft potentially is going to be in what? March, April? Isn't that usually when the draft is? So when are they going to be playing? Are they going to take a chance now playing that late, worrying about getting drafted?
Yeah, I mean, the draft stock's obviously going to be up in the air, but you hope that – I believe they could probably get away with a combine, you know what I mean, with all this stuff. And we've already discussed it in previous Power Hours about what it's going to look like if they try to play this in the spring. Players can say, no, go pound salt, because if they get injured, that affects their draft stock. So what do you do from there?
And, and there was rumors out there before, too, about, maybe that the Big Ten itself was going to move it to around February and do like a bubble type thing.
Correct.
Because they could do it in Indy. One bubble would be Indianapolis. One would be Ford Field in Detroit. A third bubble, they'd have to figure out where that would be an indoor facility, another indoor facility. But, I mean, that's talks, too. But, I mean, now you're waiting until February or March to see college football. And that's just –
keep in mind, if you're waiting until February, what are you not competing with?
You're not competing with the NFL, of course.
There it is. And then you can do games on Saturday, Sunday, Friday, whatever day you want to do games. And that's the big thing. I think the NFL holds the biggest stake in this because they hold – I mean, we've said it before on this show. The college football is the minor league of the NFL, and they hold the cards. So it's going to be interesting.
The NFL talent is not going to play in February, March, April, May, whatever the hell it is. They're not going to play. So you're going to be getting, freshmen, sophomores. You're going to see. I remember even in the summer, you've seen 4 Ohio State guys said, "Hey, if the season gets moved, we're done. We're gearing up for the draft. We will not play. We will not attend school. We will not do anything." A lot of these guys that are at the Power 5 conferences that are playing on teams like Ohio State or Alabama or Clemson, they're there for a reason. They're not there to get that education that they want. They're there to progress themselves to have an opportunity to play in the NFL. So whether they're the first pick or the last pick, it doesn't seem to matter to most of these guys.
I'm with you on that wholeheartedly, and I think it funnels down to high school seniors going to college. There's a lot of them that say, listen, if we're playing in the spring, I'm out because I'm not going to risk everything that I've done the last 3 years to maybe win a championship. There's people that say if there's not 10 games on the football schedule, I'm not going to play because guess what? It's not worth it for me if there's no state championship at the end and things that they. I mean, there's some regularity that comes with it. Ty Bartell, welcome to the party.
Thank you.
What's your take on this?
What's the prompt we're doing? Just with the Big Ten canceling.
Yeah, Big Ten pulling the plug. Your thoughts on it?
Well, it's kind of what I expected ever since we heard the talks too, and it's something that I've been kind of hinting at since a couple of months ago. Honestly, I knew I had a feeling this was going to happen, and I have a feeling that high school sports are going to follow because if Darren Miller that commented on here said, I mean, these multi-million-dollar colleges aren't able to make it work. I see no hope for the high schools making it work. And also to go off of what you're saying too, if there's no state championships, if there's nothing you're playing for, why are you playing? Why risk? If you're one of the elite, why are you risking your health to go out there to ruin a scholarship opportunity or an NFL opportunity? I mean, I don't know. I just don't see it happening because I don't think there's any reason for it to happen if there's no state championship even involved anyway.
For Ty, I got something with that. The slight difference between college and the high school, though, is that you're looking at, like, say, Ohio State. They have to travel to Indiana, Iowa, Pennsylvania, Michigan. They're traveling state to state to state. Where your high schools, though, your high schools are more centralized. You're maybe traveling to the next town over. At the very worst, you're traveling to the next, county over. So I think there's a big difference between the high school and the college. Plus the college guys, you figure all the people from really around the world sometimes are going to some of these big schools.
Well,
and you're not doing that in high school. High school kids are getting, maybe open enrollment gets a kid from, 2 counties over or something, but you're not dealing with world people coming to your college and thousands of kids being there. So, I mean, college stopping it, it's tough. And I know it's, money aspect that looks at it. They're trying to say now the big thing is the heart conditions that could be related to COVID-19 in young people, and that's scaring these kids that they don't want to play.
Here's my rebuttal to that, Paul, is yes, I understand that they're coming from different parts of the country to play in different stadiums, but they also have way better health and way better
I agree.
Their training staffs and their hospitals are sponsoring these colleges. Yesterday, Nebraska talked about, the University of Nebraska Medical Center. Like, you look at these colleges, there's a lot more, and I think that's Ty's point. There's a lot more money that flows into that aspect alone.
And you'll see these colleges have a lot more money to sanitize these locker rooms. They have the money to actually give them the physical test too before each game, and not just a temperature check, which I don't know. It's just hard for me to see a high school.
I'm going to piggyback off of what Nick Saban said, and he goes, or even what Trevor Lawrence said is, you do away with college football. Now these kids aren't going to go to school. They go back to where they live, which some of it's not a good situation. So they're more exposed or more likely to be exposed with it. So why not just keep them in a controlled environment, which if you're in a football locker room, you're on a football team, especially in a Power 5, you're under such a microscope that they keep track of everything. And even now they're going to keep track. And it's going to be something like, okay, hey, you want to screw around? You want to go out to a club? You want to go do this? Well, you're just not going to play for 2 weeks, so you make the bed you sleep in. And my other question is you move this to spring, what does it do for these high school kids that enroll into college early? So if they don't have a high school football season and you're a blue chip recruit, you can enroll, we'll say, in January, or you have the credits to where you can just enroll now. Why wouldn't they do that and just say, well, forget football? If we're not playing until February, I'm just going to go play in college.
Before we get to any other, we're going to kind of slide into another topic that goes very well into this one. Lieutenant Governor Houston on Twitter yesterday came out, and I'm going to pull up the Twitter kind of, I don't know, what do you even call it, the exact quote from John Houston. This is personal. Now, keep in mind, this is his personal Twitter account. What's the greater risk to people under age 25? Canceling in-person learning and extracurriculars, which is sports or other, to protect them from COVID, or leaving it to chance by how they'll fill this time? You can't take these things away from young people and expect good health, academic life, and results. He's got a great point, and that's one of the things that people have been bringing up is, yes, there is an opportunity. I mean, there is a risk that you take when you take the field with COVID. But there's also I think, a much bigger risk to these lives and futures of these student athletes who don't come from necessarily great backgrounds if you send them home and ask them to stay put and just chill for a little bit. If they're in, it doesn't have to be necessarily a bubble. If they're contained to campus, they are controlled. There's an expectation. You go and you do your practice, you do your training, you eat, you study, you're in by curfew, all these things. If that's not the case, if they send them home to do all these things on their own, there is a much bigger risk. EB, I think this goes to your point. Do you feel that Governor Houston is fighting the battle inside the four walls down in Columbus for us?
I do. I hope he is, and I hope he stands his ground. Because that's what a lot of people have been waiting for. Is as much as I hate that sport has become politicized with this, he's finally standing the ground, and you could even take this to the high school level. I thought about this morning to where if you're an athlete, then just say you have to do your classes online, or you have to do your classes from home. That way, if there is an outbreak or if something does happen, you can sit there and say, we now have it controlled to these kids have only been in contact with these kids. This is practice. So instead of, some of these schools where they pass hundreds of kids, now you have it limited down to 50, 60, 70, or whatever it is, and you can really start to minimize it. I mean, that's just me, an ordinary guy, thinking about this. Why can't some of these politicians or businessmen or coaches or whatnot think about this? So I just hope that he stands his ground behind it.
Billy Mack, do you feel like Lieutenant Governor Houston sees where everybody's coming? And another point I want to bring up to speed here is this isn't just about sports. This is about band. This is about the robotics team. This is about the Odyssey, the Mind, if that's still out there. Any extracurriculars, this is what we're talking about. We just label it sports because we're a sports network. Billy, do you feel like Lieutenant Governor Houston has our back down in Columbus?
I think of any of them, I think he's the guy that we should probably entrust right now. I think he's the only one kind of moving in that right direction that we need to be going towards. With this, all right, with COVID, I'm so sick of just canceling everything. It's just, we live in America, okay? Like, we have freedoms, we have liberties, we have all these things. People just need to just make a choice and just say, hey, we're going to do this with or without you, and get on the bus or get run over by it. To me, it's just, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of, let's just cancel it. Let's just cancel life. Because that's what's happening in real life is people are self-isolating because of this disease, that all this misinformation that's going out there, and they're literally just killing themselves, literally and figuratively. We need to just get past this already.
Ty, over to you.
I was always the one that said, and I've been saying it for a long time too, is that with sports, you can only control the athletes, what happens in between the lines of the field and between the lines of a court, whatever. It's when they're outside of that environment that you can't control. And yeah, it looked like now that with sports canceled for Big Ten football and if extracurriculars are canceled, you can't control it. It's all the time now instead of just a period of time where you at least have them in a controlled environment. There's all this that's not controlled. I think, though, it's tough because I understand the schools because they don't want to be liable for this, and I understand you don't want to do these extracurriculars and then kids get sick or God forbid die, or someone dies. I mean, one death I think is too many for a school.
Exactly.
And it's like you don't want to be held liable. You don't want to be held accountable for this. So I understand where the schools are coming from, but I also understand the point. Like, if you have these kids in a controlled environment, you can at least control the environment. You can control their health, the safety protocols. It's a tough situation, and it's one I don't have an answer for. It's a tough situation, and it's tough decisions that need to be made.
Quinn, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, it's tough to follow everything that Ty just said. I mean, he put it out there. I mean, to answer the question, in my opinion, I mean, yeah, Houston's the one that we should, I guess, trust with what we're doing. I mean, he's kind of the only one that's said where he stands on it, at least from what I got.
JB?
Well, total opposite of everyone here. I really think what that tweet meant was what DeWine said today is basically if we all do what we've been doing right now, next year we could have sports.
I'm tired of hearing that. I'm tired of hearing that.
No, but that's what he's gonna run back on that tweet. Like when that tweet gets read and he gets that tweet read and if he gets asked about that tweet, he's gonna run back on it and say exactly what that tweet meant.
Oh, but if we quarantine in March, we'll be all right for football and baseball in the summer. If we do this, if we just wear masks, it's something else every week.
It hasn't changed.
Hang on. Here's the tweet, the latest tweet that we had, literally 22 seconds after Governor DeWine said it. His PR staff said, "My plea to everyone today is that if that we want our kids to go to school in person, to play sports, to be in extracurricular activities, it's up to all of us to cut down the spread in our communities, wear masks, social distance, avoid large gatherings. In this together, Ohio is the hashtag." How much further can we kick the can down the road before we have to make a decision? Now, I will tell you this before we get back to the topic at hand is the OHSAA passed their proposal internally 9-0, right? But in their proposal, there's 6 games in the regular season, 7 games in the postseason. I have heard that the OHSAA has received COVID money from the loss that they incurred during basketball season. They will receive COVID money if football season is canceled. So they hedge their bets from a business standpoint because they can now say that we would have lost 7 weeks of income as opposed to 5. Nobody's talking about this. And when you look at the guy that's fighting for us internally, and I firmly believe that Governor DeWine wants there to be a season, I don't think he has enough information to make a decision. And I think Lieutenant Governor Houston, even though he wants to be on the same page and they want to look lockstep, guys, I really think that Houston's getting tired of hearing the stuff that we're hearing every day and we're saying every day is, well, if we do this, we get this. Because there's no guarantees anymore. We've done what they've asked us to do, and naturally we're not getting what we were told we were going to be given. So, Paul, when you look at that expectation, what the hell's going on here? What are we waiting for?
What I'm looking at is I look at it from 2 sides. The one side I look at that I think is I look at it the political side is that when all this is said and done, and we talked about this a week or so ago about when guys come up for re-election, DeWine's not going to win re-election. I firmly believe that, but I think Houston would win it, and I think he's hedging his bets right now to be like, hey, I'm out there pushing for you guys to get this stuff. I really want it. I don't think he's going to back down from that tweet. I think he's going to puff his chest out and be like, listen, I'm fighting for this. I want you guys to be out there to play football. I want you to be out there in the band and run, cross country and all that stuff. I want you guys to be out there. Oh, look what Mike did. Mike took it away from you guys. I'm sorry. I wanted you to do that, but I don't have a vote in that. That's where I think one part of it is. The other part, I think he truly believes that. I think he's tired of it too. That, listen, we're trying to do the best we can, and we can't control everybody doing this stuff. And with the schools, I'd be interested to see. The one thing I read yesterday, and I don't know if you guys read it or saw it, is Louisville. What Louisville came out and said. Louisville's going all at home, internet-based learning for their first 9 weeks.
Right.
But the superintendent sent out a message saying, we're going to allow extracurricular activities, though. That'll be interesting.
It is interesting.
So why is if the objective, this is why it's crazy. This is why this is crazy, because nobody really knows what's going on too. If the objective is to completely social distance and have all online classes, is that for or against to have sports? Because basically you're bringing those kids around each other.
So here's,
but to your point from earlier, how you said,
right? I'm with you. I know where you're going. Go ahead.
There's like you only have football players around football players, and you have cross country kids around cross country and volleyball around volleyball. So now
you're minimizing cross contamination.
Exactly. If something breaks out in that sport, okay, now we can shut that sport down and say, okay, these kids are on a quarantine now because something happened. But you're not around your everyday average students, where now football's only around themselves. It's an interesting take, and I'll be interested to see if other schools maybe don't follow suit, because now you can contain those kids to only being around each other, and you could say, this is what's going to happen with these guys.
I really think you're going to see people criticize, and I know Coach Emil was talking about it today on social media. People criticized Youngstown City School District for what they did, and they pulled everybody to online very early. And now you look at it, and they are the kind of golden standard. People are asking them how they're going about it and how they're doing that.
The leaders in the clubhouse.
And that's exactly right. The thing is Youngstown City School District made a decision. For better, for worse, it was the right decision for them. And I think that's what there's a whole lot of people, like we are a culture that likes to be the follower. It's a copycat culture, right? If it works for somebody, it's going to work for somebody else. Here's the problem: is the leadership we have great leadership in our schools, but there's a fear overriding that leadership right now, that if you make the wrong decision, it could cost you a job, it could cost you a life, it could cost you money financially. There's a lot of things it could cost you. And when you have that many things on the table, that many wolves staring you in the face, it's tough to make a decision, right? Because there's a lot of pressure on that one particular decision, one way or the other. I don't want to be in their chair. I will be completely honest with you. School boards will tell you they don't want to be in the chair of their superintendents. And I think there's a lot of validity to that, because the pressure that these superintendents are on, the pressure that these athletic directors are on, the commissioners of leagues have on their shoulders, there is a lot of ripple effect that could happen from this one season that affects not only this generation of athlete, but generations to come. The kids that are in 5th grade right now could feel the after effect of decisions that are made right now. So when you look at this, I think Lieutenant Governor Houston is in our corner. It's not that I don't think that Governor DeWine is. I think Governor Houston is in a position, to your point, Paul, that he can say, this is what I would do, but he doesn't have the button to push, right? So it's easy for us to stand back and say, this is what I would do in this situation and play Monday morning quarterback, but we don't have the button to push. We don't have to answer for it. So that's kind of where we're at. Anybody else with final topic or final words on this particular topic? Let's move it on. Here's a fun one for us, guys. If there were a Mount Rushmore of local football coaches, who would be on it and why? We will go ahead, and I know Paul's answer. I would agree wholeheartedly. We're going to start with you, Mr. Munson.
That's what I was.
Wow. Well, obviously, one close to heart would be obviously Dan Yeagley. 200 wins. Dan would be on there.
You only get to pick one.
Oh, I only get to pick one? I thought you said Mount Rushmore.
You get to pick one. We're going to fill it up with other people. This isn't the Paul Munson Mount Rushmore. This is you pick one head to go on Mount Rushmore.
Jeez. Well, never mind then.
Well, you're going to tell it. You're going to say everybody else's picks.
Okay, sorry. Dan Yeagley for me. Go ahead.
Dan Yeagley, Ty Bartell. Who would be on your Mount Rushmore? One coach that stands out amongst the many.
I don't know. Oh, that's a hard one. I think rest in peace to his soul, man. I think Coach Anarilla for the Falcons actually did a great job with those kids. He had that undefeated season back in 2013, and that not many coaches around the area have been able to pull something like that off as a Division I school too. So I think that just takes me back to that season and just what he was able to do with those kids, and how I was able to see it firsthand. How those kids they loved him, and they would beg to his every whim, and they trusted him. They listened to him so well. He was a good people person to those kids. He really was.
EB, do you have a coach that stands out to you that you'd put up there?
Yeah, man. I have a couple. I could do 4, but one that really stands out. I'm gonna go Paul Julia, who is now at Latonia, but if you see what he did at Crestview, he had great years then. In fact, if the playoffs were 8 teams back then, he would have been in it just about every year. Won a state championship at Poland, and then also he's turned around Latonia. So, he kind of edges out my former coach, who I played for, but I would go Big H. He's a great motivator, and obviously he's had success at every program that he's been at.
I can appreciate that. Quinn, do you have a coach that stands out to you?
Yeah, I mean, like Bailey, I can name a good amount, but I'm going to have to go with probably either Coach Collin or Ken Grisdale, one of the two. I mean, they're a staple of boys basketball in this area, and both of their resumes speak for themselves.
Go ahead, Betos.
Oh boy. This one's a little dangerous. But I'm going PJ Fecco from Mooney. I know that he just got in trouble, but the way Mooney was the Premier League Valley sports, right? The best football team in the Valley year in and year out. They won state titles. They were competitive. He played obviously one of the toughest schedules. Played a couple of D1 schools and went up to play a couple of D1 schools up in Cleveland. So I know that he just got in trouble about a couple of weeks ago, and whatever happened, but it's not bypass the fact
He
that
didn't get in trouble. He just got released from the program.
Oh, yeah,
He got fired.
Got in trouble, but you know what I mean. But that's not bypass.
No, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. There's a difference between getting in trouble and getting fired.
Trending on Twitter right now.
Yeah, let's protect ourselves a little bit. Let's know what we're talking about. I appreciate you, Betos. Yeah, he just got released. That's all there was.
If you get fired, obviously you got in trouble for something, right?
No, not at all.
Welcome to the world of coaching.
Oh my goodness! Please help us out, Max Baseball Academy.
I'm going to go my neck of the woods, Warren Harding, Tom McDaniels. I mean, he had some of the most incredible teams that I've ever seen and watched with guys like Claret. Just some of the best football at a high school level that I was able to see growing up. So I'm going to go Tom McDaniels.
Did we hit everybody? Is everybody through? Did everybody get their pick?
Who's yours?
I've had so much trouble with this. That's why it's so interesting. There's so many good football coaches around. But my guy I feel like he doesn't get enough attention because of he coaches in Columbiana County. It's Paul Cusick. He just wins. He just absolutely wins. No matter what he has. I mean, that team last year, you look at it, and not for what they had on the roster, they didn't have a senior, and they still put together a pretty decent year by Crestview standards. And when you look at it, you know, when it was the TCL, they were contenders every year. The ITCL, they were contenders every year. Now they're in the MVAC. They were in, the All-American Conference. Paul Cusick deserves more attention. He's slowly quickly creeping up on 200 wins, and he's done it in such a short period of time. And he gets a bad rap, I guess, for kind of who he is, but he protects his kids very well. So I'm going to go with Paul Cusick.
And before Britt Taylor reaches through the screen and chokes us, Don Butchie's on there too. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, Dan Reardon. I mean, you look at the names escaping me right now, and I can see the face. The JFK coach that stepped down, that's now at Spurs. Jeff Bayek, thank you. Like, you look at coaches like that. There's so many around here.
Munson is a great coach too.
Say what?
Paul Munson. Good JV coach.
The best coach should be the one where is it? Over here somewhere.
Steve. Shout out Steve. Great guy. Good coach.
Let's go to the break because we need a break. But this is the coach that should be first on our Hall of Fame ballots. We'll be back after this on the run on the YSN.
Through the side, and they all kind of just crash into each other. I mean, look at this. Like, they didn't know which way to go. The coach was telling them to run through the paper. I mean, technically they did, but like, that's not really how you do it. Like, some of them got it right.
They took the scenic route to get to that bag.
21
Good evening,
News.
and thank you for joining us.
Let's get right to our top
More
story
experienced
tonight.
reporters
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordtown.
telling more local stories
We'll look at
Baby
efforts
boy
to
is
curb
recovering from a broken.
around our
Good
valley
Community in
afternoon.
Niles,
We are
one
here in
Triangle Valley
Youngstown, right
business.
up.
because you expect
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County
Before
Court.
they become life-threatening.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com. and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Hey, my Ohio friends, it's Mike Ditka, and I know great talent and heart when I see it. I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are average real estate agents, then there are true champions. Kelly Warren is one of those champions, and you have her right there in your own backyard. Kelly outmarkets and outsells every agent in the Mahoning Valley. If Kelly can't sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, Kelly will buy it. Get your home sold. Call Kelly Warren today at 717-2689 or go online to kellysoda.com and start packing.
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you. Some interesting topics already, and we're going to try to stay away from doomsday and corona as much as we can. We're going to have to address it in a couple of these topics. But one, guys, that I'm interested to talk about and hear from you is schools are now looking to come up with creative revenue plans for their extracurricular programs, whether it be selling programs or selling advertisements that'll run on the side of their stadiums. What are some creative advertisement opportunities that you guys think that schools should adopt to bring in some extra revenue if there aren't fans allowed inside their facilities? Any thoughts on this? Who wants to lead this one off?
I'll go.
All right, go ahead.
I thought of this last year. I told my sister to do it for, I believe, like your softball association, but I would do a calendar. And if you're going to do teams, then obviously you have a team per month. And then what you do is you have these players, they sell a day. So that way, the most anyone ever has to pay is like $31 for a day. So, whatever, grandpa, you pick the month that you want to sell, or your team's the month of January, and you're like, yeah, you have to fill the calendar. Obviously, you get your sponsorships and this and that if you can do that. And then from there, if brother and sister wants to say, hey, I want to buy a day, and they're like, I'm going to do January 1st, they owe $1. But if grandma and grandpa's like, hey, I'm going to do our birthday, it's January 25th, they owe $25. And you just fill up that whole month easily right there. It's $500 per month. So you do that for a whole year, and you have each kid do it through everyone they know. There's some easy cash.
That is a great idea, and you came up with that pretty quick. I didn't even show you that topic in the pre-show. That's incredible. That's a really, really good idea. Anybody else got anything out there that schools could help raise a couple bucks with?
How the hell do you follow that?
I don't know. I feel like we just sat through a presentation.
It's gone now. That was
here's one that I like, and I know there's a lot of people on the fence about this, but the cardboard cutouts, there's something to this, and I think at the local level it would really work because, let's say a cardboard cutout costs $20 to the school. You sell basically, if nobody's in your stadium, you can sell every seat in your stadium. And when the football players, the volleyball players, whoever it is, look to the sidelines, it's a packed stadium. It's packed capacity. And, oh, by the way, you're making $30 on every cardboard cutout. And at the end of the season, it's a souvenir that you get to keep for your family, for the season that hopefully, fingers crossed, never happens again. It could be the corona.
Can anybody buy one?
Sure, why not? If you're selling
So
them,
I would love to see schools troll other schools with this even more than that.
Yeah.
I would love for like a basketball game, like Ursuline's whole student section bought out Mooney's and you've seen Ursuline gear with all their craziness that they do in their games, and you have green and gold just everywhere and inside the Mooney Stadium, that would be awesome. I would love to see. In fact, I would challenge schools to do it and embrace it. Don't reject it. Okay. It's a weird year. Let them have a little fun. Let the kids have a little fun with it too. If you do decide to go with the cardboard cutouts, let opposing teams do this. I mean, it's money. You're getting the money. You win at the end of the day anyway.
The best one I saw, and I know it was shared on Twitter, and Anthony's the one who shared it. It was at the Royals game. It was right behind home plate. It was the Weekend at Bernie's guy.
Yep.
That one was I saw that and laughed out loud for a good 5 minutes because I'm like, that's hilarious.
There was one more out there.
Chipper Jones bought out the entire backstop of the Met Stadium.
Mets, that's right. New York. Him and his kids.
Somebody that hated the Cubs bought a Steve Bartman cardboard cutout.
And the Mariners.
And they put it right in the spot, too.
It was there's so many things that you can do with the cardboard cutout. Now, we're not promoting derogatory comments or
no.
There's a line to having fun, and there's an opportunity to create some revenue for your school in a situation that is a pretty bad situation for revenue generation this year. Let's go to Quinn and Jeff. See what do you guys have? I mean, you're talking about something. Jeff's giving like gestures down there.
I was like thinking about like if you have like like if you have like a jumbo board, you could be like tell like the parents of like the kids that are on the football team or the cheerleaders, or if you include the band in there, I don't, but that's okay. But if you do it like that, you could sell like their ads and put them on the big jumbo board, like their family, like go Lisa and the cheerleading squad. Or if you have like an announcer at the game, you don't have a jumbo board, you could sell ads that way and at least have like a little bit of ads going out for the kids playing.
Dynamite. Way to single out the band as non-participants, Jeff. I really appreciate that.
Don't put up Swifka's thing.
Just play your instruments at halftime for us, band. Thank you.
No. The band are extracurriculars. To me, they're every bit a part of the game as everybody else. That's why we have idiots like Jeff here to start Gladstone. What's what he's saying? Listen to the Newton Falls guy embracing the green and gold. Let's get it up there. Let's just put it out there.
Yeah, my brother went to Ursuline, so I don't know why he's coming at me hard like this.
And you coach.
And I coach.
All right, Ty, you have anything you wanna help these schools out with their revenue generation?
I mean, I think I like the cardboard cutout idea. I mean, it's hard to really go out after that, like piggybacking off of you, cardboard cutouts. I think it'd also be kind of cool if you had like your own like sound bite that you could play at the games too. Like instead of like how they always used to do music, in the breaks or whatever, but like you have like your own sound bite that you could record. I mean, obviously nothing derogatory or anything or nothing.
I want nothing but sound bites of Jeff at South Range football games.
Well, I think we would be quickly canceled.
I feel like
it'll never happen, and I'll make sure of that.
I want to say anything bad. I want to say anything bad. I promise.
Boom. Tough acting, 10 acting.
Hey, if we're gonna go with Jeff, let's generate some money. Let's start betting on the sports. Let the schools put out lines.
We'll just sell shirts that says "Don't be a Jeff" and generate money.
We could just have spelling bees all year and have Jeff be our feature presentation. Jeff, spell quote.
How long Jeff would last in a spelling bee?
One round.
Quote.
Hammer the one round.
2 letters.
Let's just put out. Jeff was trying to put a quote on the board, and he tried to spell quote, and it started out with Q-E. Q-E. Hey,
I tried.
He's like Billy Madison in school. Spell couch. Cow. Are you going to YSN later? That's what I meant to say.
So there are some creative solutions to some school problems. If you need more schools, we got plenty of them here at YSN. We are a soundboard for all this stuff. Last night, guys, if you watched YSN, you saw that the Buckeyes won the Mahoning Valley AA Championship. Congratulations to them. A sweep. And I think the final tally for the series, as we see a picture of them holding their trophy, was 31 runs to 2 as they were able to win over Metro Ice. So congratulations to them. on their championship. Metro Ice actually won in 5 games last season, so there was a little bit of redemption for the Buckeyes this year. So congratulations to all of them. You can find all the details on that game coming up on ysnlive.com this evening. We had a little bit of issue getting the statistics from that game. We do have some in-depth coverage with some interviews from the Baird Brothers player of the game, Dylan Ducek, last night, so you can read all about that game and offer your congratulations to the Buckeyes, as we do. So, guys, when you look at the Doomsday Update, we didn't want to get to this too much. We've already kind of done this. We thought Tuesday, today, might be the day that DeWine comes out and puts the kibosh on everything that was said earlier or later last week. When you look at what he said, it was a whole bunch of nothing and kind of wait and hold on as we're going to do. Do you feel like, how far does this, oh boy, what do we got here? Is that a Baird Brothers hat? It is a Baird Brothers hat. How far, in one word, how far does this can get kicked down the road in regards to essentially Governor DeWine? What day, let's do this even better, what day do you think things are for sure? And EB's going to look at his calendar.
It'll be on a Friday. He's going to drop the hammer on a Friday, if he does it at all. I mean, I just think this is he just keeps pushing things because he doesn't want to be the bad guy. He doesn't want to be the guy who everybody's going to hate. And if he does it, it's going to be on a Friday so that everybody can bitch and complain about it all weekend. But he's not going to do it on a Monday where he's going to have to catch heat for it all week.
There's probably some validity to that. And there's a Robert Switka shout out to Andrew Kendrick for his blown tire. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that. He pulled his hammy almost completely off, rounding third base and heading for home in game 1. So Kendrick, not part of the equation. I mean, he was a part of the equation the entire year. Just was out the bottom 2 games in the championship series. Ty, what's the day that you think this is going to get stamped one way or the other?
I said about next Friday is when I think. I think next Friday you might see a final decision. The OHSAA is really backing him into a corner right now and really forcing him to say yes or no. I mean, he can only do this blame delegating so long and doing this, well, if you wash our hands, maybe we'll have it. Like, he can only do it for so long because the OHSAA is going to be like, they're basically right now like, look, we're having a season. Here's our plan to do it, yes or no. And he can only say for so much longer because the season's going to be starting here fairly soon. So there's
2 weeks.
There's only so much he could say. I think next Friday, I think you'll hear his final decision on it. He'll have to make a decision, I think, by then.
Billy Baird Brothers, what's your take?
I mean, I think it could be as early as this Friday. I really do. I think it's just going to be one of those things that once school comes back into play, that's when things might change. But I do see us playing here the next 2 to 3 weeks.
All right, EB, you've checked your calendar. You have an answer. Go ahead.
I think it'll be next, probably Wednesday or Thursday. He'll make a decision. He already said, yesterday that next week he was going to discuss sports and all that. So he's getting the school stuff out of the way this week and story time with Fran and 1,900 false negatives or whatever the hell he's doing. Probably a pregnancy test in there too. I'm not sure. It'll be next week sometime.
Oh boy, I don't like where this is going. We're on to what is supposed to be Quinn and Jeff, but we've got Jeff in the captain's seat.
Wait, hold on, and Quinn.
Okay, thank God.
I let you comment sit down for a second, but I really have a bad feeling about everything with DeWine. I don't think he's going to do it until like the week before the first game of the season in any sport.
Quinn?
Where he's going to wait that long and see how the numbers are, see how everything goes. And I really think that week will be people are going to be excited. We're going to get excited, and then he's just going to pull the rug out on us and be like, "Well, sorry, numbers got too bad at this point, and we're out."
Quinn?
So what day is it going to happen? Who knows? You get 7 days to pick from. I'll pick a Wednesday. Why not? As for what Jeff was saying, I kind of agree with it, and it hurts me to agree with Jeff a lot. But I don't think he's wrong with it. I mean, I think if it's going to happen where he pulls, like Jeff said, if he pulls the rug out, it's going to be very late on his end, but right before the season starts.
And if he does that, I will go down to Columbus. Personally,
Just be careful. Be careful what you say here.
Like, I wasn't going to do anything harmful to the guy because I don't want to ruin his walks with Fran.
Go ahead and threaten the governor. That's real smart.
Yeah.
But
Way to
I
go,
would
ding
down
dong.
there and just be like, why wait? Like, that's the question for me. Why would, if that happened, I would ask them that question. Why wait?
You are not going to represent YSN in talking to a governor ever.
I'm going down as a common citizen of Ohio.
Like anybody that's wearing a tie, you will not talk to
Jeff anymore.
State troopers would shoot him before he got near the governor. State troopers would take him out.
I would ask to go to the press conference, and I would just ask that question: why wait until the week?
Wait, do you think that's how it works?
No, I know that doesn't work that way. But if there
do you think it's like a deli where you pull a ticket?
Yeah. Wouldn't you like? Don't all sit here and be like, okay, if you could go in there and ask that question, why wait until the week before
you raise your hand?
Would you do it? Yeah.
Governor, I got a question for you. Go Yankees.
Why wait?
Go Yankees.
Either pull the plug or go fornicate yourself.
Yeah. Get out of here with that tough guy.
Fornicating, please.
Oh my gosh! Did everybody answer? Did we go around the horn? All right, let's move on, guys. Maybe some interesting topic here. If the NFL does happen, who's the biggest sleeper team in the NFL in 2020? We've heard a lot of teams say that they're going to be the best team in the NFL. Who do you think is going to be the team that nobody's talking about right now that ends up being the team that everybody's talking about here in about 2 months? Unfortunately, we'll start with JB.
I'm going to go, and this is not going to happen, but I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions.
Surprise. Surprise.
Before you all start, if Matt Stafford can stay healthy, that defense is not too bad. I'd say 10-6, win a first-round playoff game. Hello, Detroit is back.
Quinn?
I mean, I'm not even going to say the Browns because that was the delusion right there. I don't need to say the Browns. I'm gonna go kind of out on a limb. I mean, it's not that they're a sleeper team because they're usually always solid, but nobody really is talking about them right now, and it's going to be the Saints.
Oh,
I think they're pretty good. I mean, Drew Brees is really good, and I mean, I think the Saints can be one.
Are they really a sleeper though?
No.
They got a Super Bowl favorite.
They won. What did they win? 12 games last year? 11 games?
13.
13?
And they lost in the first.
But he did lead with they're not really a sleeper. So.
Okay. I mean, we'll go.
Fine. And the Browns. They're gonna.
I
win.
hope the FBI isn't coming to Hawaii. No, please don't. Jeff, give out your address so they don't come here.
It would be the BCI, the Bureau of Criminal Investigation, not the FBI.
I would just be happy if
he's so smart.
Oh boy, here we go. All right, EB, please help.
I haven't heard anyone talk about them, but I feel like they're a couple injuries away from actually being pretty solid last year. I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts. I think their quarterback ended up getting hurt. You know, they have some good youth. They needed to plug some holes through the draft, which I always feel is something that they always need to do. But I feel like the Colts might be a good sleeper, especially with the Texans losing DeAndre. Who else you haven't had? Is that with the Titans as well? So the Titans might have a little bit of a hangover from last year. So I'll just throw in Indianapolis.
All right, Ty, who's your team?
One team that I really like going into this year is the Denver Broncos. And with Bradley Chubb coming back from injury, I think Bradley Chubb and Von Miller are two stud linebackers that are going to be attacking a lot of offensive lines. And not to mention they drafted Jerry Jeudy to go opposite of Sutton. And I just really think that wide receiver core is going to be pretty good. I think it all just depends on Drew Lock, but Drew Lock was looking good towards the end of the season there. So I think if Drew Lock comes out, has a good season, I think the Broncos are a wild card team for sure.
Beach Bum.
I'm going to stay in the AFC West because I'm going to go with my boys, Oakland Raiders. Playing in a new stadium, made some good draft picks, and I think Carr is ready to finally prove that he is one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think I'm going to go with the Oakland Raiders. I'm sorry,
right,
sorry, Las Vegas Raiders.
There you go. Let's go to Mac.
Seems to be a trend in the AFC. By the way, Swicka, the Titans stink. They have no quarterback. They can't throw the football. They're not going to win games just handing the ball off. Second off, I really think the Dolphins are the team that I would pick as the sleeper. I think that they started getting hot towards the end of the year. A lot of young players on there, a lot of first-round talent coming back in there. Maybe finally got a quarterback from Alabama. So I like what they're doing. I think that you'll see a big upswing with them this year.
I'm going to go with 2 words, the Bears. I think the Chicago Bears could be a team that really shows up this year. They got Foles, right? I'm not crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, they got Foles.
I think they could do some damage with a good quarterback or a quarterback that at least has a Super Bowl championship, right?
He's only played good in Philly.
Yeah, well, we'll see how he does in Chicago. The weather's just the same, just a 1-hour time difference. So we'll see if he's just an hour late to the party like he was in Philly. So it'll be interesting. I think the Bears have the weapons to do it. I thought they had a decent draft pick or draft picks this year, and we'll see. It's not like anybody's really looking to claim the division that the Bears are in, the NFC North. So it'll be interesting to see, and I think the Bears are a team that people are sleeping on because it hasn't been that long since they've been good. They did lose a couple of key pieces, but let's see what they can come up with. So I'm going to go with the Bears. This is a topic I'm excited to talk about. The Yankee stock is falling, like unbelievable falling. You look at this. Oh my! Look at that. The New York Yankees. Some people in this particular show have picked them to win the championship against all 29 teams, and maybe have placed a side bet on those particular Yankees. But you look at the last, 5 games, and it's not looking so hot right now. Would anybody like to step up and make a case for the New York Yankees at this point? Anyone at all, please raise your hand, take a ticket, whatever you do in press conferences for the governor.
Oh, you want me to go? You want the only Yankee fan on the whole screen to go? Hey, DJ, you show 5 games there. Why don't you go ahead and scroll down before those 5 games? You won't show that because they actually won. By the way, losing like 1-4 in the last 5? Yeah, still in first place with the 2-game lead. Do you really think that Tampa Bay? You've
never looked so good.
You think they're really going to? Do you really think Tampa Bay is going to beat the Yankees?
I'm looking at this real quick.
Looks like
1,
they did 3 out of
2,
4.
3, 4. Yeah.
It's not good. It's not going to. Hey, guess what? When they won the World Series in 2010, just throwing this out there to you, they go literally 7. They lost 7 times against the Angels and beat them in a 6-7 game series 4-2.
They won the World Series in 2009.
Yes. But 2009, 2010 season, they won the World Series by not. And
The 2009-2010 season.
They're 2 different seasons.
That's 2 different seasons, bro.
Okay.
All right, you see who they're playing tonight, right? We'll see how they stack up against one of the best teams in
you're
baseball.
Hey Paul. Atlanta stinks.
Oh
And
my God.
listen to me. Just throwing this out there too. Last year, if you go look at the Yankees schedule last year, during the season they had the same way in the 60-game season where they went 2-8 in 10 games, and people said the same exact thing. They're not hitting good. They're not pitching good. They're starting pitching bad, and it all picks up. Everything will pick up. We're fine, baby. Hell yeah, I'm cool.
So they pick up in the playoffs? Did they make the World Series?
They're going to make the World Series this year. They win the World Series and make the playoffs.
How about this? How about this from
Make the
Swicka?
playoffs, then you should never ever talk about baseball ever again.
So here's the deal, right? You got guys who are striking out at an alarming rate with guys on in scoring position. So I mean, they're hitting a lot of solo home runs. Great, they're still going to lose a lot of games. Their problem with their team is they're like so new age velo and then launch angle guy that they're either striking guys out or they're hitting bombs. And you're just not going to win a lot of games that way. You have to play the game in between the lines. You have to move guys over. You have to get guys on base.
In the MLB right now. That's how baseball is now. It's all about hitting home runs. It's all about
you got to get runners on base too. You got to get runners on base, and that's something the Yankees are just not doing. And they're not striking, and their pitchers are not striking guys out at an alarming rate. They're giving
people out
because
you got to get out. That's what it is. You got to get out
at 99 to 100. So all you got to do is
Gotta
get
get out.
and these guys are professional hitters.
I don't need someone to strike 15 guys out in a 9-game if he's starting baseball. I don't need someone to throw 15 strikeouts. I need people to turn out.
If you could name the starting lineup, I'd be impressed. You as a Yankee fan, for one.
Okay. Well, you got Judge. Will be
Judge.
Sanchez, Voit, DJ LeMahieu, Brett Gardner, Giancarlo Stanton before he got hurt. And
Whoa.
Who?
Aaron Hicks as a center fielder, and
Okay.
then Giancarlo Stanton before he got hurt.
Well, who's replacing him?
And Gio Urshela is at third base. Who's replacing Stanton? You're probably going to put Gardner where Stanton is, Hicks in center, and Judge.
Did you name 9 guys? I got 7.
7.
Jeff named 11.
I named
counted
11. Brett Gardner will replace Giancarlo Stanton. Aaron Hicks as the center fielder. Gio Urshela at the third base. Gleyber Torres at short. DJ LeMahieu at second. It will be Luke Voigt at first. Behind the dish is Aaron Sanchez. And starting pitching, we have Paxton, Cole, Tanaka.
All right, my question is, did Quinn pull up something on a computer?
There's
back
got
there
to be
that he's
something.
reading?
There's got to be something. He's looking at
I
that.
love baseball, so I'm not going to look it up.
No.
That was way too easy for him, or impressive.
I'm
One of the
engaging
two.
What the heck?
I'm a little shocked and impressed, I will say.
But, I mean, let's be honest. This is the guy that says baseball's easy. So,
Yeah.
Baseball's easy, baby.
Pitching struggles are going to be what keeps the Yankees from going deep into the playoffs.
He looked down. He's like, I don't want to hear it.
And here's Garrett Cole. Let me get this pine tar off.
We're gonna go with that one. We're gonna go with those who do something sticky on his head. Okay, come on now, easy.
How do you make fun of yourself with your own impressions? How do you do that?
Special thing. Trust me, it happens all the time. Some intelligent people do, like Pat McAfee just said.
Oh man, the love for Pat McAfee
jeez.
is
Yeah,
crazy.
on the internet next to YSN.
All right.
Good cover. All right, let's get to our G. Berwick Farms. What's your beef?
Yes,
We had enough
please.
fun with the Yankees. Guys, at this time, every day to close out our show, we talk about what is bothering us in the world of sports, in our personal world, or just in general, what we're pissed off about. It's brought to you by G. Berwick Farms. Visit them on the web at gberwickfarms.com. Their farm to your freezer. Make sure you tell them YSN sent you. Let's just start and get this over with JB.
Minus with the NCAA. I understand that we have a lot of things going on and that they're canceling everything. If I was one of the big Power 5 conferences, one of the the Power 5, sorry, the Power 5 conference, I would definitely say screw the NCAA and make my own conference, and have all those teams play in one conference, and say screw you guys. You know what?
Kind of like the NCAA.
Leave the NCAA. And make them realize that the NCAA will lose a ton of money if all the Power 5 conference leave. Who's the next conference after the Power 5 that is really that good? None of them. So guess what? Do it. This is why the NCAA is scared of the union. The players actually got a little bit of leadway. They got a little strength during COVID, and they're petrified of it.
All right, Quinn, go ahead.
Mine's with Jeff, and that was in the last minute. My arm is covered in liquid. I don't know what's coming out.
It can be fired up here.
But whatever is coming out of Jeff, it just sprayed my arm on that last minute. So
We don't know if that came from above or below the
I
desk
don't
either.
know where that came out of Jeff.
Go ahead.
My beef is old people driving oversized cars. I don't understand it. If you have a tough time driving a big car, then why get a big car? And also AAU parents who yell at the scorekeeper. It is a voluntary job. You have the right to sit there and volunteer. If you think you can do it better, please be my guest.
Don't go naming names, Bailey.
I'm not naming names.
I know who that is.
Shut up, Quinn. Like, this is supposed to be general.
Some anonymity there. Geez.
Yeah, come on. Tyler, go ahead.
There, Jeff. Can you spell that one?
My beef is with Jeff for last week saying that the Yankees have a better pitching staff than the Indians, and the Indians are leading the American League and actually all of baseball in most pitching categories, and the Yankees are around 18th, 19th. And also another beef with Jeff is, how are you a Yankees fan, but you don't even know the last time they won the World Series?
I was around the year, Ty, by the way. When's the last time I wait for it? Hold on, you got to wait another 100 years because I haven't won.
It might be hard. I mean, the Yankees haven't won in this decade either, so.
That's such a Pittsburgh response right there.
Better off than the Indians have.
So would you stop comparing apples to apples? Like, if you're the best team of the century, stop comparing them to dog crap teams.
7 games when you're could be
when you have 6 times as much cap.
You can't win a series against the freaking Tampa Bay Rays, man. Shut your mouth for a little bit until you win that series.
Lose one series against Tampa Bay.
Well, who was the guy that was talking trash about Tampa?
I can.
And now what do you got?
So then you got to own up to getting whooped upon. That's how it works.
You got a big L. Hey, what is it? Jameis Winston, right? You're eating the L, man. Enjoy it. It's sizzled up and beefed up by G. Burbick Farms. Enjoy that L. On to you, Beach Bum.
Damn, I wasn't too happy with that, roast of Jameis Winston there as I'm wearing my Florida State gear. Sorry. No, my
Should wear your crab leg shirt.
I know, I should have. Maybe I'm going to go have some of that tonight down here.
Attaboy.
Fresh out the ocean. Mine is my beef is a woe is me beef with freaking sunscreen. Man, I covered myself in that stuff today, and my shoulders got toast. So, yeah, I'm pissed at sunscreen today.
Okay. Thanks for the buzzkill. All right, on to Mac. What do you got?
My beef today is with society in general. It's just the idea that everything is rushed to cancel this, cancel that. I think it's getting too much media attention with the negativeness of just cancel it. These people, there's more people who want this world to continue on and keep going, and those people need to step up and kind of push the envelope a little bit back. Let's take our game, our sports, our communities, our towns, our legislature. Let's take these back from people who just want to cancel everything.
Is Paul talking? Like, you guys, is that what you're gonna wear?
Sorry, yeah, that's what I'm wearing. The wife just walked out and said, "Is that what you're wearing? We're getting ready to leave. We're getting ready to go to Broadway and the beach." So I said, "Yeah, that's what I'm wearing."
Okay, cute. You look great. You're gonna do great getting your crab legs.
All right.
My beef is going to be with people that don't read the fine print and people that don't really care about reading the fine print. If you sign a contract or you do something of the sorts, let's say you're I don't know, buying a house or buying a car, and you don't understand what you're going in on, then at the end of the day, you cannot complain about it whenever it comes to time to pay the bills. So that's my beef. Is if you're going to sign something, if you're going to argue about things, at least know what you're talking about when you're reading the fine print. So that is my beef. Brought to you by G. Burbick Farms. Visit them on the web once again at gburbickfarms.com and make sure they know YSN sent you. Boys, that is going to wrap up our show for the day. 8 minutes of overtime, not bad. And we will have plenty more where this came from tomorrow from 3 to 4 right here on the YSN Power Hour. Any final words?
Peace.
See you boys later.